Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron channel. Massive Iron Live Saturday morning. Every time I swear, every time I do a live video, it's gloomy outside in Ohio, but what can you do? Welcome to the channel, guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Going to try and do a live video every Saturday and get back in the groove. I already got a question from Joseph. I'm going to get to your questions shortly. I'm usually on a live for about an hour, so post up your questions. I'll literally stay on here as long as you guys have questions, so just keep firing them away. If I miss your question, head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman, slide into my DM. I answer every question I get from you guys on Instagram, so don't hesitate to bother me or bug me or whatever. And occasionally, on these live videos, you will I'll miss somebody's question because YouTube just messes up. So if it seems like I'm ignoring you, I'm not ignoring you. Just post up your question again, and I'll get to it because I don't ignore anybody's questions. Before I get into the questions, guys, and pile them up, doesn't matter what they are: lifting, supplementation, personal crap, off topic, whatever. Just have fun with it. Before I get into it, I want to let you guys know that I'm expanding my client base. I'm trying to take on 10 more clients, and I'm giving the first month free of coaching. If you are interested, hit me up on Instagram at Ben the Barman, slide into my DM or email me, benthebarman@gmail.com. I'll give you all the details. First month is free. It's part of a 4-month commitment. This isn't some bullshit coaching either. I'm with you every single day. It's like having the big, hairy, ugly dude in your back pocket. I'll do whatever it takes, whatever your goals are. Nutrition, I'll help you with your diet. I'll help you with structure of workout. I'll provide accountability. I do check-ins 2 to 3 times a day. It's a complete service, and my folks get results and guidance. So if you're interested, slide into my DM, and you can head over to my website, Super Living Today, to get you one of these. All right, let's get into questions. Enough of the commercials. All right, Joseph G. And I'm reading this on my computer, so that's why my eyeballs are going all crazy. If you trained your upper body 2 times a week and lower body once a week, would you still be making gains on lower body, or would it be more maintenance? Yeah, absolutely. You can. And before I answer the question, give me a shout out. Let me know where you guys are at. Where you guys are located. So Joseph G says, can you train upper body 2 times a week and lower body once a week? Absolutely. There's many ways you can do it. When you approach your lower body day, because you're only doing it once a week, you're going to have to approach it like a body part split. So, the pitfall you might run into with doing lower body only once a week is that you don't do enough volume. So just make sure it's enough volume. Make sure it's a reasonable amount of volume. And upper body, I would do an A-B split, so you're not doing the same exercises every single day on your upper split. I like to keep a fluid routine, and when it comes to workouts like that, just kind of rotate between them, like upper A, lower, upper B, rotate between them when you feel like training. So you might even be able to train 4 or 5 days a week on that if you're super motivated. Let's see what we got here. What's up? Perseverance says, what's up, big, hairy, ugly dude? What is going on, Perseverance? Let's see. Double. What's your thoughts on the Wendler 531 program and when it's appropriate to follow it? 531 is basically you're doing a form of periodization because you have a 5-day, a 3-day, or a 5-week, a 3-week, and a 1 week. And hold on, my clients are blowing me up, and they didn't know I was live. 531. You cycle between 5, 3, and 1 weeks, right? So when is it appropriate to do that? After you've built a reasonable strength base. Beginners really have no need to cycle intensity. They need to get in the pit and grind it out right away, get their strength levels up basically the first 6 months to a year. And that's a general statement. It's not a rule, so don't get all excited. But about six months to a year, my first year, I got my squat up to about 315. My bench up to, I don't know, 225 or whatever. If you're making good strength gains after 6 months to a year, then you can absolutely try 531. All right, Jay Parker is in from New Mexico. I went to college in Socorro, New Mexico. So shout out to New Mexico. Vasilin Yelikov is from Bulgaria. Bulgaria, maybe the strongest country in the world. Who knows? I don't know. It might be the Chinese. I'll let you guys decide that. Hurricane. Leg workout with patella tendonitis. Has this ever been issue with you? Any suggestions on how to approach it? Yeah, I've had some, excuse me, I've had some exercise created knee tendonitis. And basically it happened to me when I started doing box squats, because I get a lot of box squat questions, and it's a popular exercise. But what people don't understand, I'm not saying this is your issue, but what people don't understand with box squats is it actually changes the way you squat just a little bit. You tend to go more hips back. It changes the stress on your knees. So sometimes the point of this is, sometimes with leg exercises, it can be one leg exercise, or the way you're performing one leg exercise, that can contribute to knee tendonitis. So if you have it, obviously you want to go see a doctor, because I am not a doctor. I am a big, hairy, ugly dude. But you might want to, in the gym, you might want to just kind of remove the squat exercises for a while, or have somebody look at your squat form to see if there's anything you can improve in your squat form, because there's potentially something that we all can improve in our squat form that might be contributing to this. For example, you might be initiating the descent in the squat all hips and placing extra stress on your knees that could be contributing to this. So I would have somebody take a look at it. If any of you guys are interested in me looking at your form, or assessing your squat, bench, dead form, or whatever, I provide a service over at my website, Super Living Today. All right, what do we got? We have Joshua from Austin, Texas. How's it going, Joshua? I spent some time down there in the early 90s when I was in the military. I went down near Fort Hood and near the Austin area, and it always seemed like a really lively art community and music community. I'm sure it's the same thing. Yam in a plastic bag. What's going on, Roger? Roger's tuning in from Seattle. Seattle might be the only city with worse weather than Cincinnati, Ohio. Hurricane from Georgia. All right, perseverance. Guys, keep the questions coming. What's the difference between Dumbbell deadlifts and stiff leg deadlifts, and are they the same thing? No, they're not. And it's a very good question. One of the exercises I recommend often to people that have home gyms, that don't have access to a lot of equipment, is a Dumbbell deadlift. A Dumbbell deadlift is basically hips back. It's a hinge movement where your hips back, and as soon as the weight goes below, or the barbell goes below your knee, you pop back up with your hips. So it's a hip action basically. And you can search YouTube for Dumbbell deadlift questions, or videos, I'm sorry. But you'll feel it in your glutes, you'll feel it in your hamstrings. A stiff leg deadlift and a Romanian deadlift are, I think you might be talking about the Romanian deadlift, because a stiff leg deadlift, typically in the bodybuilding world, you don't ride the stiff leg deadlift down your legs, on your quads. A Romanian deadlift, you keep your lower back tight and neutral, and you move your hips back as you ride the barbell down your legs. And With the Romanian deadlift, you go as deep as you can until the point where you feel your lower back wants to round. And right before that point where it wants to round, you stop and you come back up. You drive the hips forward and you drive the head up on the Romanian deadlift. So on the Romanian deadlift, you're going to go deeper, whereas on Dumbbell deadlift, it's really rapid and quick motion, and you're only dropping the barbell right below the kneecap. So I hope that helps some. All right, keep the questions coming, guys. I am swamped, but I will get to everything, I promise you. Let's see. Thaddeus Fields checking in. Thaddeus is a client of mine. I appreciate his support. Philo, 68, rest in peace, Franco Colombo. Yeah, it was really crazy. We see a lot of bodybuilders die, right? And, they come and they go. But from my era, being, I started lifting in 86. These guys were vibrant and they were healthy. And, they were in the magazines and they're at the, they're at the forefront of bodybuilding, guys like Arnold and, Mike Metzer and Franco. And, it really just reminds you how short life really is. I mean, in the short span of time that I fell in love with the iron to where I am right now, it's just getting to that point where a lot of these guys are going to be moving on. So, sad day. Guys from that era always felt a little bit different to me. They were always more raw and training in these, dirty, less than optimal, less than beautiful gyms, and something about that I enjoy, and something about that I still enjoy today. I don't like all the fancy bullshit and all the mirrors and the lights and all that kind of shit. I just enjoy dirt and chalk and just getting after it. I don't need all the frills. So I always appreciated guys from that generation. Let's see here. All right. Chad, how's it going? Chad Powers, another client of mine. Gun Nuts, Paris, Tennessee. I'll be in Tennessee next May running for 96 hours, if you can believe that. Let's see, Perseverance. Do you think relative strength to body weight is more impressive than strength in general, regardless of body weight and size? Good question. And I'm going to give you a generic answer, but it's an honest answer. Strength is strength, right? I don't look at strength in terms of strength versus body weight. I don't look at strength in terms of, hey, this is a larger guy or even a fat guy that's strong, and I was a fat guy that's strong. Strength respects strength. Strength respects strength, and that's one of my mottos. If you are after strength, if you are after mental and physical strength, you respect those that are after mental and physical strength. Strength respects strength. And raw numbers don't, at their core, they don't impress me. And I'm not saying that the accomplishments aren't impressive, because they are. But what impresses me is when people turn their lives around or dedicate it to achieving big things. The process is what impresses me. The dedication. Because in this life, so many of us just sit on the couch and we're dedicated to nothing, We're dedicated to fucking TV and eating Doritos. We have no passion to go after something, to climb a mountain, to destroy a record, to run an ultra marathon, whatever it is. And I'm not putting down the people that want to sit on the couch, right? But the people that go out there and attack life and make every day count, that's what impresses me. That's what impresses me most. So I hope I answered your question some way, somehow. That's as honest as I can get. Let's see, Rob Whitman. What's your thoughts on yoga? I'm pushing 50 and my range of motion flexibility isn't what it once was. Back in the day, I think 3 years ago now, Alan Roberts came to me on Instagram and said, you should try yoga. And I was like, what? Try yoga. And since then, I've picked up a great appreciation for it. Not just because of Alan Roberts, but because it's growing and we're paying more attention to it as an activity. And I'm getting more feedback from people because of guys like Alan and his wife, Crystal. You're seeing more and more people get involved. I'm seeing more and more people in my circle of friends getting involved with it. I'm getting more feedback, and it seems like a really quality investment of time. If I had the extra time, I'm not going to be foam rolling. I'm not going to be doing prehab and rehab, and all that kind of good stuff. I would probably rather do yoga. And I'm not putting down prehab or rehab or foam rolling or all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's so many things we can do physically with our time. But if I had the time, and I'm so busy with clients right now that I really don't, I'm so busy with running that I really don't. But yoga is something me and my wife always talk about. We actually have a studio literally 100 yards from our business. So I think it's something you should try, especially when we reach over the age of 45 and we're just not where we used to be. It looks like a great way to push yourself and to maybe regain some of that flexibility and some of that body weight control that we've lost. So I hope that helps some. The original Rizik. Are you guys seeing my questions? They're not showing up in the feed. Just saw this. So post up your questions. I just saw that message. YouTube can get crazy. Every time I do a live video, I miss somebody's question. It doesn't show up. It just absolutely ghosts. So I saw that. So post it up, Rizik, and I'll get to it. All right, let's see. Let me have a drink here real quick. I got some today. We got the Green Monster. I got two of them actually. We got a backup just in case. Me and the wife might be doing a 20K run today, so I got to be extra caffeinated. All right. Jim Cooper. I'm in a calorie deficit running the second phase fast start beginner workout. Legs are feeling pretty beat up after the heavy squat day. Would I be better off running a 2-day a week full body? Jim, I'd have to know a little bit more how long you've been doing it. It's pretty common during your first, few months into the gym to feel beat up. I don't know by beat up if you physically mean that you are borderline, you're picking up strains and pains. If you're picking up strains and pains, you probably want to decrease the volume or frequency. If it's not a strain or a pain, if it's just soreness, that's part of the process. So if you are feeling beat up with strains and pains, you want to decrease something. Don't decrease the weight on your exercise, all right? Don't do that. What you need to do is decrease the frequency of your training or decrease the volume, but don't drop weight. That's one of the biggest mistakes people make when they feel a little bit beat up. If you need a deload week to drop weight, that's fine, but go back to the weight you were at before. But if you're feeling physically, you're feeling strains and pains, decrease the frequency or decrease the volume, if that makes sense. Let's see. And make sure you're not in too deep of a calorie deficit. That's a possibility as well. Guys, keep the questions coming. I'll stay on as long as you have questions. Post them up. I don't care what they're about. Just slam me with questions. As long as I have questions, I'll stay on, even if I run longer than an hour. What do we got here? Javier Gutierrez. How can I make my legs grow? They don't seem to respond as well as my upper body to higher volume, but I do train them at least 2 times a week with heavy squats, deadlifts, and lunges. Well, Javier, the first thing I would ask you is, are they making progress? Are you taping your legs? Are you using a tape measure every month to monitor your leg growth? If not, then you really need to, because a lot of folks are saying such and such isn't growing, but they're not actually monitoring it. You could be picking up a 1/4 inch of leg growth every month. It seems slow, but over the course of a year, that's 3 inches if you think about it. So, without looking more at your program, there's not a lot I can really say. I need to look at your program. Javier, if you want me to look at your program, send it over to my Instagram at Ben the Barman in my DM. I also would be curious to see how consistent your food intake is, how consistent your calorie intake is, how consistent your protein intake is, and overall how strong you are, because one of the pieces of the puzzle is you can't just do squats and deadlifts. You have to make sure you're getting stronger on them. And I know you said you're doing heavy, but I'd like to look at that. Without that information, there's not a lot I can really compliment or talk about, analyze. Jim Cooper said 3 days after the workout to clarify, sort of the point I feel I shouldn't work legs. That's normal when you first start working legs. If you are having a soreness 3 days after, that's I basically lived with that for 10 years. So it's just kind of the way things go with leg training. If you're sore 3 days after, you just kind of have to structure your program where you're training legs when you're not sore, just for enjoyment's sake. Like if you're training, if you're trying to do an upper lower twice a week and hit legs twice a week and you're sore all the time, you might want to switch your leg frequency to every 5 days or something like that, or just do one leg day a week. So just some things to think about. But soreness is natural. It's part of the process. And it generally means you're doing something right. I know it's a pain in the ass, but it's really a sign that you're doing something right in the gym. So really there's not to avoid soreness. You could try, I'm just being honest here. You could train like a pussy and that's not going to get you results. So you just got to kind of embrace it and just see how you can structure your program to just more enjoy it and maybe slow down the frequency a little bit from however frequently you're training your legs to maybe every third day to every fifth day, or maybe even once a week. Let's see. I had where we go there. Penguin 8 YouTube. Thoughts on only doing squats, bench press, deadlifts, and overhead presses and pendlay rows for hypertrophy. It's all right, but I'm not a big fan of that. I don't like seeking minimums and I don't like seeking maximums. If that's all you can do because of time, fine. Yes, it'll be effective, but I don't like to seek minimums and I don't like to seek maximums. The best path, honestly, is to make everything in the human body as strong as possible. Every muscle group from head to toe as strong as humanly possible. I don't seek minimal ways to do that. I don't seek abusive maximal ways to do that. The best way is to have a more well-rounded approach. Now, what I would say, if squats, bench press, deadlifts, and overhead presses and pendlay rows are great exercises, but to that you could add push-ups, push-backs, body weight squats, lunges, planks, ab wheel rollouts, pull-ups, chin-ups, things like that. That would be a good complement to barbell training. Body weight work. I think body weight work and barbell training are really good synergy. So while yes, those are great exercises and they will serve you well, if you have limited equipment, add some body weight work to that. I think that's a really good route. That'll add some more volume, because the problem with only doing barbell exercises is that it's hard to get enough volume in. If you're doing 3x5 squats, twice a week, like some guys do, that's like 30 working reps, for legs each week. It's simply not enough volume. It's just not. So, I prefer a more well-rounded program. I would add some stuff in, at least body weight exercises. And shit, I love dumbbell exercises. If you get you a set of dumbbells, just do some dumbbell volume on rows and dumbbell bench press and maybe even the Arnold press or something like that. That would excite me. But overall, the philosophy: don't seek minimums. Don't seek the minimum path to do something. Seek the most reasonable and moderate path. Some mid ground that's your best bet. Let's see. Faker account, 45 watching and only 12 likes. There's 17 likes now. Live videos are always slow starters because people just kind of tune in, tune out. This channel isn't about likes. It's about information. So look, when we're talking likes, hey, I appreciate the heck out of it. I got 20 likes now. You guys support the heck out of me. My like dislike ratio is insane. Um, I usually get one dislike per video, and I'm pretty sure I know who the fuck that is. And I'm sure some of you guys can figure that out as well. But I appreciate your support. I always get a high like to dislike ratio, and I don't even care. I just provide the best information, and I attract people who want the best possible information, simple, basic stuff to get it done, and that's all that matters. Um, let's see, Chris G. Best way to peak for a powerlifting meet in 4 weeks. Wow, that's a tough question. But when I'm working with powerlifting clients, we continue to slowly ramp up the intensity or the weight while pulling back on the volume of reps you're doing. So as you get closer to a meet, you're lifting slowly more. You're each week you're lifting a little bit heavier weight, but you're pulling back on the amount of volume of reps you're doing, okay? At the same time, I generally have my clients pull back on the volume of assistance work they're doing. So say 10 weeks out, you're doing 3 sets of dumbbell rows as an assistance exercise. Slowly you move back to 2 sets, slowly you move back to 1 set, and then the last couple of weeks you're not doing any assistance work. You're just trying to let the body heal and recover. And for the last 5 to 6 days before meet, you're really doing nothing. So I hope that helps a little bit. Just pull back on the volume of heavy work you're doing, pull back on the volume of assistance work you're doing as you get closer to a meet. Don't hurt yourself, right? Faker account. Did you run to the water tower on Fort Hood? No, I actually was not. I actually was only visiting somebody, a fellow soldier down there for a couple of days. So we just kind of hung out in a hotel room and, just bullshitted. So I walked around Austin a little bit. Didn't really get into Fort Hood, to be honest with you. But I was in that area. Tiong, what's your opinion on high volume bodyweight exercises like 100 push-ups and 100 pull-ups? I'm trying to achieve that kind of athletic physique. That athletic physique, the physique you want, this is going to go back to the question that I just talked about with barbell exercises and adding in bodyweight stuff. The guys that achieve a great physique from only calisthenics, they're usually doing more advanced stuff. And I'm no expert on that. But I can tell you for the average guy like me and you, unless you get really advanced into calisthenics and advanced movements, it's probably not going to challenge you enough. 100 push-ups is not enough to challenge you. When I was in basic training in the military, I think it took me like 6 weeks to get to the point where I could do 100 push-ups straight. You're going to get to that point really quickly, and when you get there, there's going to be no additional challenge. You can add in 100 push-ups a day, 6 days a week, then you're probably going to get overuse injuries and beat your body up. The best route is to do resistance training, dumbbells, barbells, and stuff like that. Me and my wife do both. We do resistance training and we do a lot of body weight stuff. And the athletic physique you want, the fastest way is resistance training, barbells and dumbbells, and adding in body weight stuff once you're fatigued with dumbbell and barbell stuff. So I hope that helps some. Somebody's going to come on here and tell me, but so-and-so built this physique with such and such, and yeah, they do advanced fucking calisthenics. They really do. Let's be real here. No one can, outside of the freak, unless you're doing advanced calisthenics every single day, it's just not going to, build that athletic body. And that's one more point here. When you see these really ripped, lean calisthenics guys, we know they're not big. That's not being disrespectful. They don't want the size a bodybuilder does, a natural bodybuilder, and the thing they have going for them is they probably have 15 and a half inch arms. Not huge arms, but respectable arms. But they're really, really ripped. So a big part of that equation of having an athletic body isn't just the exercise you're doing, it's getting ripped. And that takes a lot of discipline at the dinner table, especially for naturals. So just keep that in mind as well. Keep the questions coming, guys. We're halfway in, and I'll answer every question. I'll stay on here for 3 hours if I have to. Before I move forward, again, I'm offering a free month of coaching. Yes, that's not a gimmick. And you can head over to Instagram at Ben the Bowerman, slide in my DM. I'm taking on 10 new clients, free first month. It's a complete hands-on service. I'm with you every single day. I provide accountability. I'll help you with your diet. I'll help you with your workout, everything. It's like having the big, hairy, ugly dude in your pocket. Head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman for more information, or email me at benthebarman, benthebarman@gmail.com. All right, back to questions. Are you religious? No. Religion is usually a spiritual belief that is surrounded by rituals. And I think even if you look at a group, let's use Christians, for example. And I never talk about religion on this channel, but, I've studied a little bit everything in college and in life. So some Christians will tell you they're not religious, because religion generally is a set of rituals that people put a lot of faith or belief in. There's nothing wrong with ritual, in my opinion, because people will come to me and say, I want to change my life around. I want to look like this, I want to look like that. And I'll say, you need to treat it like a religion. You need to have a set of rituals you wake up to every day. Like a new lifestyle is basically new rituals. An old lifestyle that got you fat and out of shape is a set of rituals. You would sit down and watch TV, you'd sit down and eat ice cream, you sit down and drink beer. But then you need new rituals. So that might be replacing the TV time with exercise time, replacing fast food for lunch with a meal prep, etc. So, are you religious? Let's get to the question. No, I don't follow any spiritual belief. My belief in life is very simple. I treat people with respect. I treat people with kindness, and I keep my fucking nose out of everybody's business, because I know life is hard, and we can be very critical as a species. I don't stick my nose in other people's business. I don't really care what they're doing. I don't know where they are as far as struggles. It's none of my business. And I have a life to live. I can't take on the burdens of other people. So I just try to go about my day, treat people with respect, treat people with kindness, make them laugh a little bit, and move on. So if you were to ask me what my religion is that we're on this planet for a short period of time. We don't need to make anybody's life more difficult. That's my religion. All right, Jim Cooper, just a lot of soreness. I'll keep plugging along and adapt. Yeah, Jim, just stay strong. Maybe just get a few more rest days here and there. Toure Tun. Sorry, that's a very difficult name to pronounce, so no disrespect if I screwed it up. You are strongly built. Can I ever look like you with a fast metabolism and skinny? I have an Asian type of body type. I will tell you, if you follow me on Instagram, occasionally I post a picture of when I was a teenager or 18. I was about 152 pounds and pencil thin. Where I am today is a result of nearly 34 years of resistance training. And also, I'm not a super ripped bodybuilder. My weight is over 240. It's more like, 252 right now, or whatever it is. So I'm not super lean. If you take a muscular physique and you add some fat to it, you're going to look big and imposing, kind of like a pro wrestler. You just remember, I was a skinny guy. I have small wrists. It sounds stupid, but my wrists were like 6.3 inches, at one point. They're not, I don't have big bone size. So you can definitely get big. You can definitely look physically imposing. Just be patient. It's a lifelong thing. I don't find too many guys in their 20s that look like that, because The younger guys generally, their metabolisms are so strong that if they're eating right, it's harder for them to, you know, put on gain fat like this. I'm just a little fattier than those guys. I don't know. I hope that makes some sense. I'm just rambling right now. Savvy Pear, I thank you answered my question. Cheers. James Reynolds says, "How do I like a live stream?" There's just a like dislike button on every YouTube video, so um, just check that out. I don't know. I don't know where the like. I don't watch my videos, so I'm not sure what you guys are seeing on the other end. To be honest with you, let's see. Granddaddy Lee, how is the lovely Fiona doing? Fiona's doing well. She has a sewing shop and it's doing amazingly well. And we both struggled with C. diff this year. We don't know how we picked it up. I had it for like I don't know 8 weeks, and then she got it, and she went through 2 courses of antibiotics. We've run 124 days now, and I believe for at least 100 of those days, one of us was carrying around C. diff and was pretty sick. So we're doing good. Fiona is a beast. She is a bigger beast than I will ever be. The original Razik. The one dislike is a guy whose name probably rhymes with haha. Razik, you you know exactly what I'm talking about. Absolutely. Uh, Savvy Pear says that doesn't help me at all. I'm not sure. I don't know, guys. Just when you're done, go to my channel and check out the video, and there's a like, there's a thumbs up button. Let's see. SG Brainstorm OH. I don't know if you're from Ohio, but if you are, Ohio right here. Penguin. Great answer. Thanks. Asked differently, is there any reason to be doing bicep curls if you can't row 315 or dumbbell flies if you can't bench 365? Yeah, absolutely. When you go in and do your compound movements, you probably still need some extra volume to help you with hypertrophy. When you do your compounds, if you do a lot of compound volume only, let's say you only did compound movements, you're going to end up beating up your joints. You're going to pick up, there's a likelihood that you'll pick up overuse injuries. So, yes, compounds have their place, but they cannot generally make up the entirety of the volume we need to build muscle. And so, therefore, once you are done with the compounds, it makes sense to do lighter, less physically demanding exercises like flies, like push ups. Let's see, what did you have? Bicep curls, absolutely. You want to do that stuff after the compounds are done because you want the appropriate amount of volume to build a good muscle base. And muscle contributes to strength over the long run. So we want to build muscle to build future strength if strength is your goal. So absolutely, you want to do that type of work because you simply can't do over the long run, meaning 10, 15, 20 years, just compound movements with a lot of volume without literally beating the crap out of yourself. And plus, you know what? It's just fun to do different exercises. I like to do the compounds, but honestly, when the compounds are done, I like to move on to the other exercises and do a little variety. It's just movement, it's just fitness. Have fun with it. Don't overthink it. Get your compounds in. Like Hulk Hogan says, train, say your prayers, and eat your vitamins. That's good stuff. All right, let's see what we got here. James Reynolds, dumbbell flies for powerlifting. Not for powerlifting. Dumbbell fly, what I just talked about, dumbbell flies might have their place as an assistance exercise once all the compounds are done. You're going to need some assistance work. For me, I like to do 2 compounds for each body part, dumbbell and barbell bench press or something along those lines. I like to do a body weight exercise like push-ups or pushbacks or something like that. Inverted rows, assisted pull-ups, TRX pull-ups, something where my body weight's involved. And usually I do 1 pump exercise because there is some research that shows that the pump contributes to hypertrophy. In what degree, we're still not sure. But I like to do a finisher when I got out of the gym. It's just fun. So you could do something like flies like that. But muscle Muscle has capacity for future strength. So if you're after end goal strength and you're a power lifter, when you're in the off season, you could absolutely do something like flies as a small piece of the puzzle to build up muscle size. I hope that helps. Let me grab a drink here, guys. And girls, but mostly guys. All right. Brent, I started 9 months ago. Started at 440 pounds, 6'4", and now 350 with bulking and cutting. Brent, way to go. I'm glad you got your life together. You're gaining control of your life. Down 90 pounds. Everybody give Brent a congratulations, because that is a hard thing to do. Just stay strong, stay consistent, and by all means, Brent, if you feel weak or struggling, reach out to somebody that has been on the same path. Go to my group Massive Iron on Facebook. Be a part of that community. Surround yourself with some good people, because we want to see you kick ass and continue to kick ass. John Jorgensen. John is a client of mine, and John is the only man I know to have completed the 10-100 program, and John is a beast, in my opinion. John says, any recommend reading specifically nutrition based? Wow, that's a really, really good question. There are so many good nutrition books out there. One of my goals, I've been slowly adding to my website, and John, in the near future, I'm going to put together a reference guide, like recommended reading for nutrition. I don't offhand, there's a lot of books that I read on nutrition, but offhand, I couldn't even begin to name them all. So I don't even know what I got down here right now. I read a lot of stuff about the psychology of eating, like binge eating, and I do a lot of research on the actual deep mechanisms of obesity, like things like ATP trapping and stuff that's never talked about, on YouTube. So I don't know, a lot of stuff. Let's see, what is the girl's name that's on Joe Rogan a lot? I can't even think of her. When I think of her name, I'm going to pass her along to you. Me and Robert Shinetsky are big fans of this lady. She knows a lot about nutrition. I'm going to give you her channel to watch, and it's a really good starting point as far as nutrition and science and the real science behind how we should eat. But I can't think of her name offhand right now. Tiang, thanks for answering my question and giving me great advice. Thank you for supporting my channel. I appreciate that. Brandon Wall, thoughts on a push-pull legs upper-lower split on 2 days on 1 day off rotation. For example, push-pull off, legs upper off, lower push off, etc. So we have a push-pull legs upper-lower split on 2 days off, 1 day on rotation. As long as it's structured where you're not doing a push or a pull 2 days in a row, that's absolutely fine. The issue I have is like, let's see, you got legs in an upper, and then you have a lower, and then you start back with push. That looks like a fine rotation. It really does. I see no issues with that. Push, pull off, legs upper off, lower, push off, pull, leg. Yep, that absolutely works, because you're not working the same muscle group on back-to-back days. So thumbs up, that's a really well-structured program. Adam, my squat is 70 kg less than my deadlift, 210 kg. Would improving the squat improve the deadlift? I will put it like this, Brandon, Adam. Your squat, improving your quad strength, and that's not. I'm just not going to focus on the squat here. Improving your squat strength, improving your quad strength in general will help with the deadlift. You don't hear it talked about a lot in powerlifting circles, because everybody's so posterior chain focused. But if you can get your quads big and strong, it will only help get that bar off the ground. your squat is less than your deadlift. Deadlift aside, you should really focus on getting in some good squat volume and trying to get your squat up. It'll absolutely help with your deadlift. It can't hurt, let's put it that way. Because if your squat is 70 kilograms less than your deadlift, that's a substantial difference. And it might be that you're just a naturally good deadlifter. That's probably a piece of the puzzle. But I would absolutely get your squat up. I would become obsessed with quad size and quad strength, and just do a variety of leg exercises that contribute to quad strength. Let's see. Hello from Norway. Hello, Norway. How's it going? Good afternoon to you. And Ture, is it worth doing deadlifts due to the bad risk-reward ratio? I've had some disc issues in my back, but it's fine now. Look, I mean, the risk-reward thing we're talking about in deadlifts, with deadlifts, is we have to take it in context. One of the things I've always preached is that you should never train above 90% of your one rep max on the deadlift. The problem we're seeing in the modern culture, lifting culture, is that too many people are training the deadlift too heavy. That needs to stop. It's not the way you build the deadlift. There's too much risk reward. The biggest risk reward in deadlift is going heavy. I advocate that guys treat, and I got a video coming out tomorrow on this, so look for that. They treat every rep like it was you have to treat every rep like it's a max rep attempt. You have to reset your form. The problem with the deadlift is people go too heavy. They don't take time to learn form, and during sets, their form gets worse and worse and worse with each rep because there's no discipline. So that's going to happen on deadlifts. That's going to happen on sumo deadlifts. That's going to happen on trap bar deadlifts. The problem isn't necessarily the movement. The problem is the person performing the movement is not resetting and getting tight. They're going too heavy. You can do that on trap bar deadlifts. You can make the same exact mistakes. So I don't like, just blanketly boxing in deadlifts as a high risk reward exercise. There's things that people do that contribute, that increase the risk. Training too heavy, not resetting their form after every rep, so on and so forth. So if you do that correctly, and you're aware of that, the deadlifts are not that risky of an exercise. Let's see. Thank you guys for giving a shout out to the gentleman for losing 90 pounds. Straight Edge Entertainment says, Rhonda Patrick, you, sir, are a superhero. Straight Edge Entertainment, Rhonda Patrick, for those of you that want to learn more about nutrition and diet, there are people like Rhonda Patrick out there who I subscribe to her website and her newsletter, that Dr. Rhonda is just a wealth of information. Whether you agree with everything these people say or don't agree, when you surround yourself with people like Dr. Rhonda Patrick, it makes you think. It gives you new concepts and ideas to process. And Dr. Rhonda Patrick, John Jorgensen, I would follow her as a good starting point. And anybody that's interested in diving into a little bit more on nutritional science would benefit from following her and watching her videos. She's just one of many quality people out there. Brent, thank you for answering my question. I was wondering if I should keep bulking and cutting to keep my strength up, or just cut to 280 then bulk. Brent, I'm going to be honest with you. You need to get under 280 for longevity. Men that are 250 pounds and above lose an average of 7 to 10 years off their life, okay? Or lose an average of 7 years off their life. Men that are 300 pounds and above lose an average of 10 to 14 years off their life. This isn't speculation. It comes from, actual statistics, mortality statistics. So 280 is still too heavy. It's just too heavy. I know you're taller. I believe you're 6'4", but your heart still has to carry around that weight. You really need to consider getting under 250, to be honest with you. I would continue to lift hard and heavy, and I would set a goal to get to 240 and then reassess where you're at. And if you need any help with that, Brett, just send me a message on Instagram at Ben the Barman. Brandon Wall. All right, guys, I got about 10 minutes left. If you have any more questions, slide them in now. If I missed your question, head over to Instagram, @BenTheBarman. Slide in my DM, send me the question. I answer every question. Brandon Wall. On the push-pull legs upper-lower rotation, I asked about how do I go about the volume. Do I split my volume up for body parts? You know what? That's a real difficult question for me to answer because it's more of a complicated split. I don't know what exercises you do. Some of it comes down to exercise selection. I'm not trying to skirt your question, Brandon, but there's variables in what type of exercises do you do, where do you train, what's your assistance work, so on and so forth. So without knowing that, it's really, really difficult for me to just give a generic answer about volume. I do a workout assessment service, where I'll look at a workout or design a workout for you. And if you're interested in that, head over to my website at superlivingtoday.com. And I usually get that back within a day. But, if you have a structure that's already written out, I'd be happy to take a look at it. Sten, can you answer my question, please? I did not see your question. Again, sometimes YouTube does not post the questions for whatever reason. I'm looking back and I do not see one in my feed. So if you could please post it up again right now, I'd appreciate it. I would love to answer your question. I just don't see it in my feed. Blame it on YouTube. Ture, any tips on getting my wife interested in fitness? It's all excuses. Ture, I got bad news for you. You're probably in trouble. It's hard to motivate somebody to get interested in fitness. Here's the problem, but I will say this, all right? A lot of times we try to get our friends or partners interested in the fitness things we like to do, right? We might like to lift, we might like to do barbell and dumbbell exercises. So we're like, come on, honey, let's go do squats. And she's like, nah, not doing it. All right. We need to first understand that fitness, there's many different ways to do fitness. The way she might like to move might be completely different than the way you like to move. She might like to go hiking. She might like to go walking. She might like to go yoga. At the end of the day, your wife's health and her longevity should be your priority as a partner. So I would say for anybody listening, instead of trying to force her to do a form of fitness she doesn't like to do, find a form of fitness she does like to do, and then maybe join her. Might be hiking, might be walking, who knows? It might be yoga. But once she gets out and start moving, then she might become interested in other forms of fitness. But at the end of the day, people don't like to be forced into doing things they're not interested in doing. It's your partner, so you have to sit down and say, hey, have a conversation about longevity and health, and we all need to move, we all need to do something. And if you're with a partner that refuses to move and just wants to eat or remain stagnant, you have two options. You just deal with it and love the person the way they are, or you try to find things that they might want to do and then do that with them. So I hope that helped a little bit. Lester, thoughts on rotating push-pull legs with a bro split for joint health after 50? A bro split is a good option, I believe, in my opinion, for the after 50 lifter, because there's more recovery time. Generally, the over 50 lifter, you'll do less volume than a 20-year-old doing a bro split, but it might only be slightly less. It really depends on the individual. But a push-pull legs is really a bro split. If you are doing push-pull legs over the course of a week, it is basically a bro split. It's just a 3-day bro split. So you could do a push-pull legs, and then you could rotate in a 4-day split or a 5-day split. Basically, what you're rotating between is a bro 3-day split to a bro 4-day or 5-day split. You can do that, absolutely. There's no issue with doing that. You just have to have your recovery set up and your structure set up appropriately, so you're not training the same muscle group too close to your last workout. Hope that helps. Alan with 2 L's. Greetings from Australia. Greetings, Australia. I will be in Australia in late October with my wife, and I'm really looking forward to seeing your wonderful country. Do you have any lagging body parts, and if yes, have you addressed them? Asking because my bench press is novice level, whereas the rest of my lifts are intermediate. Yeah, I absolutely do. My bicep strength sucks, and my bicep, just the way my biceps look, sucks. I have these monster triceps that make my arms, some people think they're 20 inches on the internet. They're not. They're only like 17 and a half inches. I have these monster triceps. I was born with good calves. My quads look monster. They're only like 26 inches. But I have horrible biceps. And, I don't think I have a really thick chest. And after 34 years, I've realized there's nothing I can do to change the genetic shape. Some point in time, you have to understand that the shape and size of an exercise of some muscle groups, you might not be able to do much about it other than maximizing it. My bicep strength has always sucked. My pull-up strength has always sucked. But then again, there are certain things I can do, like push-ups or other calisthenic exercises I can do for days on end, almost literally. So what do you do when you have a weak area? Well, it really depends on the weak area. With a bench press, for example, if your bench press is weak, and I've made a lot of videos about this before, number one, you probably need to increase your bench press volume. Number two, you probably need to add in a variation like a dumbbell bench press and do volume on that on a weekly basis. You probably need to add in 2 overhead pressing movements a week, a barbell and a dumbbell variation for volume. You need to really attack your triceps and get them a lot stronger than they are now with volume. That's a really good step. And with bench press, as my video I talked about yesterday, you probably need to eat a little bit more, because the bench press, more than any other movement, responds to calorie intake and to body weight. So that's my best advice for the bench press specifically. That's my best general advice. Now, check out my videos on this channel. There's a lot of good information on improving the bench. Yam in a plastic bag. Incredibly wise answer regarding Touré's wife. Thank you, sir. I hope that helps some folks out there. Can't make other people do things, but we can find out what they like to do and share that with them. And have more sex. Samuel Graves, thoughts on feet up bench floor pressing as a variation to build conventional bench? Absolutely. Nothing wrong with that, as long as you are keeping that upper body tight and you're not, beating up your elbows or shoulders. I like to do the guillotine press as an assistance exercise, where I bring the bar down about 6 inches away from my neck, and my arms are flared. I find I can really work my chest that way. You can do things like that. You can do things like feet off the floor bench pressing. Freaky D does that. I see his videos come across my Instagram feed a lot. Looks like a really quality assistance exercise. I would give it a try if you're interested in it. Your top triceps exercises. Good question. The triceps are a funny exercise, or a funny muscle group, because there's not a lot of really great exercises for your triceps. I like to do a lot of cable tricep extensions for volume. I like to do a lot of close grip bench presses for volume. I like to do kind of an exercise flow that for lack of a better way of describing it, that I created, where skull crushers, you get the easy curl bar, and I'll do a skull crusher, right? I'll do this. I don't like to call them skull crushers, because you don't take them to your skull. You rotate them back here. I like to do a lying tricep extension, and then a close grip bench, a lying tricep extension, then a close grip bench. And I like to alternate between those two until I hit like 50 reps. I feel it's a really good pump exercise. So those are my personal favorite. I believe you can get a lot of mileage out of those 3. Sten, we only have like four dislikes, we only have like four different 0 calorie monster drinks in the Netherlands. Yeah, I think in the States we have these. We have the reds, which I like. We have the whites. We have the blacks and the blues. I believe I might be missing one. I think there's a purple. Oh, there's a purple one too that I enjoy as well. Thoughts on Bulgarian light training for intermediates? Absolutely. I mean, if you're a true intermediate, you can give it a try. The thing is, with programs like that, listen to your body because some people respond better, some people don't respond well at all to that type of training. So just be smart about it. Any type of training you're going to try, there can be a tendency for us to follow it through, even if it beats the living crap out of our body. So just be really smart about it. And if you're not feeling it, or if it's beating up your body, just put on the brakes. Ture, any tricks to improve your chin-ups? The one where your palms face your head. That's a chin-up, absolutely. I have been plateauing, doing like 13 for a year. One of the ways I encourage people to attack their chin-ups is to do them multiple times a week. One of my strategies is to do them, say, every other day or 3 days a week. And what you do is you take a 2-minute window. And you got to be real careful here because you do not want to tear a bicep. You want quality reps, not sloppy reps. Repeat, quality reps, not sloppy reps. In that 2-minute window, say you do it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You're going to do as many quality chin-ups as you can. You're going to write down the number for Monday. You're going to write down the number for Wednesday. You're going to write down the number for Friday. And you're going to add that up, and that's your weekly chin-up volume. You're going to do that next week, and the following week, and the following week. And what you're going to look for is increases, small increases in reps. You want to increase by 1 rep every week, your total volume. Just add 1 rep on those 3 days. And if you do that over the course of a year, you're going to add 52 reps to your chin-ups. You'll be a freak in chin-ups over the course of a year. The problem with programs like this is that even though they are effective, they aren't sexy enough for people. But this is really the way things work in lifting. You need to have a plan, a reasonable plan. You need to attack the plan, and more than anything, you need to be patient. So when it comes to pull-ups and chin-ups, a program like this is a good foundational program. It's a reasonable program, but honestly, most people just won't do it. They won't do it for a long period of time because it gets boring. So just consider a plan like that. Let's see. When I was in the States a few weeks ago, I tried all the monster drinks. Yeah, I go through them all. I like energy drinks. I won't lie. I'm trying to reduce how many I drink. I usually don't drink them, unless on the weekends I drink them a little bit more. Yeah, there's orange ones too. I forgot about that. But I went through all the Bang. I don't really like the Bangs as much. I like the Reigns a little bit more than the Bangs. But, it's a personal thing. So it's like beer. Samuel Graves, yeah, thoughts on like Smolov Jr. bench to peak a lift when you're more experienced? I think there are things you can do other than Smolov Jr. to peak a lift. There are programs I put people on, that are better for them than necessarily just doing Smolov. I'm not saying I program, I have a magical program that's better than Smolov, but I don't necessarily think you need to do that. There's other ways you can there's other things you should look at to improving a lift, the basics and fundamentals before you turn to Smolov. Like I just talked earlier about improving the bench, increasing bench volume, adding a dumbbell variation, really working on your overhead presses, really working on your tricep volume, things like that. Those are basics and foundational things that everybody should be doing. And then once they do that, then I think it would be a good idea to try Bulgarian light or Smolov or whatever the heck you guys want to try. John, red, black, blue, white, orange, purple, and green. Yep, that's it. Red, I like. Black, I'm okay with. Blue, I never get. White is what I started with, and I can live or die without that. I don't really like white. Orange, I'll have occasionally for a little, variation. Purple and green are usually my go-tos. Purple, green, and red. I rotate between them. Those are my three favorites. Alan, resistance bands versus cable machines for exercises like tricep extensions, face pulls. I have bands back there. I keep this little curtain up because my gym is back there, and I have no air in there, so I keep the air conditioning in my office with that fancy fucking curtain, right? So, but I have bands. I don't. It's not really an either or question, to be honest with you. There are exercises you can do. Face pulls I find easier with bands. Like I got bands in there. I can do face pulls. I can do face pulls. It's just easier for me, but it's not really an either or question. It's the same motion. I find face pulls to be more enjoyable with bands. I find triceps, like triceps. I do band work with triceps. I do a lot of finishing stuff, but the thing about it I don't like is that I don't know the actual resistance, right? So I like when I'm training triceps. For those of you that are training your triceps to get them big and strong, I want a quantifiable amount of resistance. So I would probably, use a cable stack where you know where you are until you pretty much max out on strength on there. Paulson, you notice before every question I go, sorry, don't mean to annoy the heck out of you guys, but that's just what you get in a live video. Should you avoid sugar at all costs while cutting? Not at all costs. Obviously cutting is about being in a calorie deficit. When you're cutting, though, you have fewer micronutrients coming into your body in general. So you really should be focusing on cutting. And cutting, you're going to be hungry because you're not eating as much. So what I would say is that when you are cutting, you want to focus on increasing food volume, which usually, and you want to focus on micronutrient dense foods, and usually that comes down to vegetables. So given a battle between simple sugar and the sugar or carbs found in vegetables, and obviously things like oatmeal and black rice and quinoa and whatever rice you're using or carb source you're using, you want most of your calories, your carb calories, to come from food sources that have a lot of micronutrients in them. So, and sugar just sucks. Let's be honest with you. Sugar is not the best fuel for our body. It's just not. I don't care what anybody says. It's just not the best fuel for our body. There are other better choices. You're not going to, as long as you keep things balanced, you're going to be fine. But in regards to eating sugar and flour, you want to minimize it where you can. Let's see. Harut, advice for guys who started lifting a couple years ago in their early 30s. Not strong and pretty lean. So Harut is in his early 30s. He's not strong and pretty lean. The best advice I can give you is to check out my book, Massive Iron, at superlivingtoday.com. That'll walk you through the process of how to maximize any workout. But I have a lot of videos on this channel about the foundations of building muscle. Use a good exercise selection. Make sure you focus on compounds. Be persistent, consistent. Get a lot stronger than you are now. Use a reasonable amount of volume. And when it comes to your nutrition, calories and protein, you want to set minimums where you're trying to hit each day. I don't deal with macros because I'm not, somebody that's cutting specifically for a bodybuilding diet. I think they kind of shake out in the wash when you are eating a lot of healthy foods, but you want to set a minimum goal for calorie intake and protein intake each day to make sure you're not under eating, to make sure you are as consistent as possible. Ab Reyes, do you believe adrenal fatigue exists? Yes. I've seen, I had a powerlifting friend who something that's similar just nearly destroyed their life. I believe any system in the body can reach an overtaxed stage because the body can do a lot of amazing things, but there are periods in time when we can do something for a long period of time and feel fine, and then for whatever reason the system just rebels. So I believe it exists. I don't know enough about it to comment intelligently, but I have seen it. Eduardo said I skipped my question. I did not. It did not show up in my feed, so please post it again. That's one of the problems with YouTube, is that not all the questions post for whatever reason. So please post your question up again. The best recovery for adrenal fatigue, again, I'm not an expert at it. Whenever you are fatigued, though, in any capacity, the best thing to do is to slow down, to pull back on what you're doing in life a little bit, the intensity. In training, it would be the volume and the frequency, to pull back a little bit, to give your body a break. You obviously want to increase sleep. You want to increase your nutrition. You want to fight issues in the body in a sensible manner by fueling your body properly and resting your body properly, both physically and with sleep. And, I don't know enough about adrenal fatigue to even comment, but I would definitely do some research on the internet to see what you can do to help recover from that. Dazani Lani, I started lifting 2 months, and I'm 2 months and 1 week ago. I'm using the rep goal method. I tested my 1 rep max yesterday and did 95 kg 1 rep max. Do you think it's possible for me to lift 120 kg after a year? I'm assuming you're talking about the bench press, but that would be an increase of 25 kgs and, what is that, like 60 pounds or whatever. In a year, yes, absolutely, where you're at. That is a very good and reasonable goal for a year. There's no reason you can't do that in the next year. Eduardo is the last question I have. Eduardo, I did not see your question. Please post it up. I'm about to jump off, guys, unless you have any more questions. Get them in right now. Just a reminder, if you need help or one of these cool Massive Iron t-shirts, head over to my website at superlivingtoday.com. I got a lot of t-shirts up there. I only make a couple bucks off them. I do it more just for fun, community and, that sort of thing. Services, free first month of coaching. That's not a gimmick. If you're interested, hit me up on Instagram at Ben the Barman for more information. I have books over on my website, superlivingtoday.com, a bench press book, Massive Iron. I have a program called 10-100. If you really want to kick your own ass, check that program out. I got exercise form assessments, body fat assessments. I can do a workout assessment, a diet assessment. Anything you want, I'm here to help. So check that out. And I appreciate you guys supporting everything. Chio1761, how's your cardio training going? Absolutely wonderful. We're on day 124, 125, and running still about 10K a week. Everything's going well. On my birthday on October 13th, I'm going to be testing myself for 52 hours. So I'm obviously not going to be running for 52 hours straight, but I'm going to be trying to see how much running I can do in 52 hours. The goal is to get at least 100 kilometers in 52 hours. That's basically a marathon plus on back-to-back days. So wish me luck. All right, guys, I'm going to head off. Please look for my live video next Saturday at 10 a.m. I appreciate you guys' support. If you need anything and I missed your question, head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman, and I'll be glad to help. Appreciate you guys watching. Have a great day.